say you won't leave me. I know it's too easy to run away, to run away.
As much as me and BMW may have our differences, the BMW M3 has always been like the benchmark car ever since its birth. It's been what all the other companies compare their sports cars back to, what all the other reviewers compare sports cars back to. But in 2018, is it still worthy of being called the benchmark? And that's what I'm trying to answer today with this video. So I'm in a 2018 BMW M3. This particular car is finished in the Yasmariana blue, or I'm probably butchering that, but it's a badass blue color. These cars are running a twin turbo 3-liter inline 6, 425 horsepower, I believe, 406 torque, $65,000 base price, which this particular car has a competition package on it, so it bumps the base price up to like $73,000, 444 horsepower. They tweak the suspension and the transmission, and the exhaust system is so much better. There's also a couple cosmetic tweaks on the outside. In general, it's a little bit more driver focused than a base M3. So I've taken off all the driver assist, traction controls off as well. And it is a rear wheel drive car. I could light up the back tires, but this is not my car. I don't feel like buying the owner a new set of tires. But it is a good point to make that this is a rear wheel drive car, and its 0 to 60 is 4 seconds flat, which is pretty crazy that it's right there with the all-wheel drive RS5. And the power in this thing is so linear. Like, I have power everywhere thanks to the turbos, in comparison to the E92 M3, which, don't get me wrong, was an amazing car, but it just never had power. This is a nice change. I have a lot more usable power in this car, and it feels like it has so much more power than 444. I don't know if this is underrated or BMW just did a really good job with how it comes on, but this feels more like almost 500 horse to me. And now I'm pushing 115 miles an hour in a 35, so I'm gonna calm it down a little bit. Also, the handling, it's not a fair comparison because my M4 was lowered and had the suspension all tweaked and everything, but this feels so much better than my car. I'm gonna be a little hypocritical here for a second because I've bashed on BMW for this before in my videos, and that is that the interior is like super plain, but it's super to the point. You don't fix what's not broken, right? Everything's right where I'd want it to be, and while it's a little bit plasticky and it's not the most luxurious looking thing, it doesn't distract me while I'm driving, which is nice. My Mercedes, as much as I love it, is a little over the top. All the LED lighting and the huge screens and everything else, it's awesome, but I buy cars based off of a driver's experience, and you don't necessarily need giant iPads and everything else to have a good driver's experience. That's why Porsche does it so well, and I think I finally understand why BMW has kind of followed suit. God damn, this thing's quick. Look, as much as I might not want to admit it, this is a great car. For the money, it's a great car. And with all the assists off, it's actually a really fun car to drive. Exhaust is dramatically reworked from a base M4. Sounds so much better, and actually has like a lot of little gurgles and cracks when you're downshifting. A lot of these cars have that like fake exhaust gargle going on. I'm pretty sure that's what's happening here. I'm okay with it. I know a lot of people hated it on the Huracan, and then it just kind of started showing up everywhere. It's in my AMG. This car's doing it. Tech-wise, I've always compared BMW to Apple almost. I mean, everything's super, super user-friendly. The infotainment center is one of the best in the business. It might be a little dated, but it works so well. The iDrive system's been around forever. And the Apple CarPlay is actually available over Bluetooth, which in my car I have to plug in the iPhone cord, which is annoying. And it's also way easier to use since it's not a touchscreen with the dial. My Mercedes also doesn't have a touchscreen, and the dial's a little clunky to use. A gripe I do have is that BMW's M cars aren't different enough from their just base cars. So aside from a couple M3 badges on the interior, you'd have no idea you're in an M3 over something just like a 3 Series. As well as the outside, this car sits a little bit wider. I don't know if it's enough of a difference for me to show that this car is worth double what the base car is. Having said that, the base 3 Series looks really good, so the M3 just happens to look really good. It might have something to do with the blue. I'm very partial to like Riviera blue and Mexico blue from Porsche. This is very similar. In this color with these wheels specced out this way, it's one of the best looking cars out there for the money. And in its little competition circle, I'd say it's probably my favorite. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm having, I want to throw it sideways, I'm not going to. I'm having way too much fun driving this thing right now. Let's talk about my favorite thing about this car, and that's the transmission. Everything about this transmission is almost perfect. And I say almost because Porsche's PDK is literal perfection. This is right there. I don't want to say it's just as good, but I can't tell you why it's not as good. Everything from the way the paddles feel, even when you're clicking them, they actually have like a pretty tactile feel. The fact that the gear select is where it's supposed to be, it's down in the center here, and I can shift with it if I want to, which is awesome. I hate my Mercedes, I have to stock up on the thing, just it feels so out of place. And the shifts themselves are so lightning fast, and automatic mode knows exactly what I want to do. I know everyone's like, oh, just drive it in manual 24/7, and that sounds good in theory, but occasionally it's nice to be in automatic mode, and it's nice to know when I put my foot down, the car's gonna do what I want it to do. It's not just gonna sit there for 30 seconds and hold a gear because it doesn't know what I want to do. My Mercedes does that occasionally. I wish it didn't. So what's it like to actually drive this thing? I've gone through all the specs and stuff, but just purely on experience, I've driven pretty much everything on the channel. I'd say this competes with everything else I've driven. If you grew up watching Top Gear, now Grand Tour like I have, they always compare cars back to typically the M3 or the 911. Just so happens the 911 is my favorite car of all time. The M3, until today, wasn't really on my radar, but I think I finally understand why. Like, yeah, the C63 is probably faster in a straight line. The RS5 might be faster around a circuit that's got really tight turns just because of the all-wheel drive system. Both those cars are great and they're excellent at a couple things. The M3 is excellent at everything. So after driving this thing for 2 days now, I think I have an answer to my own question. If I, in 2018, was starting a car company and I had to build a four-door entry-level sports car, I would probably use the M3 as my benchmark too. It's really, really good. And that's it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed this video and you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button. We're almost at 100,000. Share this video. If you liked it, smash that like button. Comment down below what review you want to see next. I'm thinking maybe an M4. Let me know down below. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Just know I do this first try. God damn it. Eating with the M. AMG division. God, division. What is divisions? Much as I may not agree with BMW. Quattros compete. Why do I? This is why I can never have my own show. One more time.
That was such a sick shot.
Was it?
You ruined it.
I know. It's not. I'm not cut out for this, dude. I'm gonna quit being a YouTuber. Huh?
Once we're done with your stuff.
Yeah.
Can we get one clip of me doing the exact same thing?
Yeah.
Okay. You see, guys. Here's the thing. Lamborghinis are fucking sick. Yeah.